Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Sagittarius is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Sagittarius, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Four of Pentacles, safety, security, stability. This is a card of kind of a good foundation. This could be good habits. This could be really some kind of financial responsibility. You know, that we're trying to save a little bit of money, not spend too much. We're trying to be frugal, thrifty, right? Trying to save a little bit. Maybe you clip some coupons. I feel like this is a focus on shoring up the basics, shoring up the foundations of our life, maybe in terms of our physical health or financial health, I guess. But I feel it more as if we're trying to reach like a baseline, okay? And from this baseline, we can then explore other, avenues. We can explore different things, higher things. We can experiment a little bit, okay? But this is kind of like we want a safe space for ourselves where we can feel comfortable, we can feel like our sanctuary. This is our home. And from here, we then reach out into the larger world. All right, let's put this card into a little bit of context. Let's see what's going on. I feel like you're somebody who is very good with money. Yeah. And look at that, we've got that Nine of Cups. Yeah, this is nice. See, we have to have these sort of basic needs met. And then we can start focusing on, okay, well, what is the so-called extra that I need? I don't believe it actually is extra. I think that in order to have a full and healthy life, we do have to have both the foundations in place. We have to feel that our lives are somewhat stable, somewhat certain, somewhat predictable. Now, these are all illusions, just as safety, security, and integrity and stability are illusions, or rather they are impermanent, right? But we have to have a semblance of that if we're actually going to have room in our lives, or a kind of a home base or a headquarters from which we can reach out into the larger world and experience the greater abundance. This is a card called Happiness. Yeah. Let's look at the rest of our cards. We have a Prince of Cups, a Prince of Pentacles, a Knight of Swords, and look at that, 10 of Cups, a 9 and a 10 of Cups. That's really interesting. I like the 9 to the 10 of Cups because I think it really shows the sweet spot where we're living the happiest life, where we are living the dream. It's not just something that we attain. It's kind of it's almost like our true goal in life. This feeling of satiety is always on this kind of like vanishing horizon. It's like the goalpost is just moving further and further out. That it's like we're at the buffet, right? And the more we eat, we get closer and closer to being full, but we never quite get there. And that's the sweet spot, because obviously then we get to stay there all day and enjoy all the foods we like, right? So I feel like our satisfaction in life, our happiness in life is in that sweet spot where we are always sort of getting closer and closer to some either imaginary or arbitrary final finish line goal kind of thing. And we're right in between. We're like at a 9.5, right? We don't want the 10 of, if you become sugar, you can no longer taste sugar, right? And I think right now life is in the tasting. I think that you've earned the tasting of the sugar. anyway, with the earth energy here and the water energy, I think is a very nice combination. Path of the Serpent, we have more earth energy. A Knight of Pentacles. We have the Eon card. We have a 9 of Swords. This is the card we don't want. This is in the position of the energy that we don't want and we're trying to avoid here, okay? But here we see the Ace of Wands because we know that with the 4 of Pentacles, we can't just stay here, okay? This was something that you built, something that you earned, but staying here is kind of like we're mistaking we're on the road trip and we're mistaking the motel as the actual destination, you know, or we are kind of mistaking one of the camps up Mount Everest for the actual summit of Mount Everest, right? But again, it's not about the summit necessarily, it's about the climbing. The summit is, let's say, a very nice few minutes, but very quickly you have to continue climbing, this time going back down, you know. But the real adventure, the real test, the real challenge, the real exhilaration is in the climbing of the mountain. Yeah, it's a euphoric experience, I imagine. I've never been there. At the top of the mountain, but the real journey was, you know, the path that you took to get there. And that's kind of what we're seeing here, especially knowing that a 4 plus a 1 is a 5, and 5 is all about change. So we're here. We have to invoke this Ace of Wands, and we have to be able to extend ourselves out from this home base. We can't stay at base camp. We got to climb. We got to do the thing. You've got to live your journey, right? And that's giving you, I think, a real sense of the deeper happiness in life. But let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot, the Factor Infinite and Unknown. And we're going to set it down right here with Big Red Ant right on top. And now we're not going to look at that card until the very end, right? But it will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need. If at any point during this program you feel like you know what that card is, I want you to put your prediction, hunch, your guess down in the comments. All right. Let's look around the room here. Interesting that the only major arcana energy we see is the Eon, Judgment, Rebirth, Reawakening, the Baptism by Fire, the Trial by Fire, the Doorway of Fire. This is the portal to your future. This is kind of like you're inside of this 4 of Pentacles, this stability that we've secured, this nice, cozy life, this predictable, safe life that we've built. And you're seeing this fiery doorway, right? And you don't know what's on the other side of it. Or you do. You know that perhaps your true happiness and satisfaction, the sweet spot of life, is on the other side. Maybe we don't know exactly what the details are. But we know that our adventure is out there, right? Reminds me of this book that I read this week. It was The Last to Leave the Room. I think it was by Caitlin Starling, I think is the author. Very quick read, fun book. Just some kind of sci-fi, weird fiction kind of thing. It was a real short book, but it was very good. Or a doorway appeared, anyway, in someone's house. That's all I'll tell you. The Eon card is a doorway through which we will find the rest of our life sort of waiting for us, the other half of our adventure, let's say. And it takes courage to go through this doorway. This is a transition from different states of life. This could be like the first half of life to the second half of life. Now, it doesn't have to be chronological, but I feel as if there's some event that's happening in your life, whether it's the kids have gone off to school, or the kids have kind of moved out and started their own life, or maybe you're going from school into the workforce, or you're retiring. And there's some major sort of life rite of passage that's happening for you. It could be the loss of a loved one. I feel there is a family vibe that's happening right now, and I don't know exactly what that is yet. But I feel like your life is it's a transitional phase right now. Okay, it takes courage to go through this doorway and say, I'm ready to start the next the next phase. I'm ready to start the rest of my life, the next half, arbitrarily speaking. So that's our major arcana. That's our doorway. And it's in the position of your environment, the position of your relationships. So it really is asking us to come outside of this box. Let's get outside the door. But this was something that you built. Okay? Fire, we have water, we've got air, and we've got 1, 2, 3, earth. The important thing here is that we have 1, 2, 3, water, 1, 2, 3, earth. And anytime we have kind of matching numbers, anytime we have that kind of a symmetry, I feel that it really shows the connection between the water and the earth right now. I feel like the earth was you first building the life that you have, building up, let's say, the first half of our life. Again, it's not chronological, as a way of speaking. Securing ourselves, maybe we've got a stable job, we got income, we've saved some money, our health is pretty good, we got the foundations pretty much built. And we've sort of gotten comfortable there, and it kind of feels like now there's a shifting toward not so much what can I do to build the right kind of life? How can I, well, let's look at the earth energy. Let's just start with that. So this is you, in the past, Prince of Pentacles, the builder. The one who is, building this foundation, building up the first half of our life, whether this is through career or work or, finances, whether this is through health, whether this is, at school or whatever it is. It's kind of like, how can I make my way in the world? How can I build the kind of life that I'm supposed to sort of build at whatever age you are? I don't know if you're retired, maybe you're still in school, it doesn't matter. But this is that idea of, okay, I'm going to build the kind of life that I'm supposed to build. We all sort of build that foundation. We build that sort of basic life, right? And then from there, I think we get to explore, all these other avenues that really make life unique. This is kind of like you're sort of doing what most other people do in a very general way. I went to school, I got a job, maybe we had a family, maybe we had a career, maybe we went to grad school or something like this. We got our degrees or whatever. I don't know, whatever it is. But we sort of we built the foundational life. Okay, and this kind of secures our position in the external world. It's kind of finding our safe little corner of the larger contextual environment. Yeah. And this is what most of us do. We figure out, okay, well, what can I do to find a safe, secure, and stable place in the world? How do I fit in with my classmates, with my coworkers? How do I sort of satisfy the demands of my family, the demands of my friends, and create this sort of stability? This is the life that we've built, thus far. And that's very good. And I think that's what a lot of us try to do. And then there comes a point where now we have a prince and a prince, right? So I feel like we're kind of shifting now from this how am I building? How can I secure this? And now we're dealing with the Prince of Cups. So you're dealing with this feeling of, okay, now it feels like something's changing. It feels like there's some sort of not dis-ease in you. I don't feel a queasiness here. It's just we don't have like a 7 of Cups or anything, But I feel that there's this new feeling emerging in you. It's like the return of your instinct or your intuition or your attachment, your connection with your feelings, And I feel like you're kind of understanding that the next phase of your journey is not about accomplishments. It's not about building something. I think it's about experiencing that purpose. It's about journeying in that authentic way. This is the card of authenticity. This is the card of somebody who is trying to understand what their meaning, what their myth is, what their path is, what their legend is, and living that. And this is our own very unique journey. Very often the Prince of Pentacles it's fairly common. It's like it's kind of a lot of us are basically this, right? The Prince of Cups is a very unique individual, right? It's kind of like at the very fundamental level, we're all humans, I think anyway, most of us. We're all human beings, right? But then layered on top of that is this individuality, this meaning, this myth, this uniqueness, right? Your very own destiny, one of a kind, your own authenticity. And I think this is something that's, you're starting to feel it more and more, a pull. It's like the center of gravity is shifting for you. From earth now to water, from the practical, pragmatic, the building up of life. And now it's like, okay, I'm ready to, I think something significant is happening in your life. There's some sort of a major event that's sort of bringing our awareness to this feeling, this need for authenticity. Again, whether this is some kind of a transition in life, if it's a rite of passage, if it's a major event, like the kids are, moving out, or maybe someone has passed into spirit. I really pray that's not the case, but it does happen, So there's this feeling, there's this draw toward what is going to really make my life more meaningful. What do I need now? There was a point probably where this was very satisfying. This was it. This felt good to do this, right? But now there's this. Now the Prince of Cups wants to, sort of build something a little bit more special, more unique, more authentic, and this is where the true happiness, the dream. This is the Nine of Cups is the dream that keeps on dreaming, right? So this is kind of like we're returning to maybe those childhood dreams and fantasies that we've sort of postponed. We're returning to a state where we're guided more by our feelings rather than just the practical needs of the world around us and our own kind of physical, practical needs. And we're driven more now by this sense of self, this sense of a deeper spiritual awareness, right? And we're looking for more. We want the icing on the cake now, and that's exactly what the Nine of Cups sort of looks like. If this is your square kind of sheet cake, this is the icing on top. And now the Knight of Swords, this is a card that looks into the future. The princes, as we've seen, these are sort of acting in the present moment. Right? This is what concerns us right now, today. Well, this was yesterday what concerned you in the moment. This is now what you're feeling inside of you is sort of taking over, right? And the Knight of Swords is looking to the future and trying to see a pathway forward, trying to see like how can I make this transition into this Nine of Cups kind of life, into this kind of living my dream, living the journey kind of life. So we're kind of wondering what the plan should be. The Knights, again, they're looking at the future. You have another one too and it's Earth, it's Pentacles, right? So with the air here, we're sort of looking at the future, and maybe we're trying to think this through and feel like, well, what is it that I really am looking for? What is it that I really want to do? And the thing is, we don't want the Knight to look at the future and just see a Nine of Swords and think, well, I can't pursue this myth of mine. I can't pursue this purpose of mine because it's going to lead to disappointment. It's going to lead to despair. I'm going to follow this dream, and then who knows what's going to make of it. I'm going to try to climb Mount Everest, and what if I have to turn back before I get to the summit? Because we're looking at this Ten of Cups perhaps and thinking, that's what I need to do. I need to accomplish something. I need to get to the top of Everest. That's what my purpose is. And so maybe we're looking at it a little bit incorrectly, I guess. Yeah, that we're sort of skipping through the journey itself and we're just looking at the goals. Well, that puts us right back in the sort of mentality of our Prince of Pentacles that was just thinking on, okay, goals, I got to secure this, I got to do this. This is, kind of the outcome that we want. Whereas with the Nine of Cups, it's an odd number. It's a function, it's a verb, it's in the doing, right? It's a journey. It's the walking of the path. Yeah, the Taoing of the Tao. And sometimes the the swords anyway, at least with the Knight of Swords, is looking at the sort of end result and trying to formulate a plan here. Okay, so we'll return to this sort of thinking energy in a moment. But the Ten of Cups, to me, it feels like in the future position, what we really are looking for is a life that is fulfilled, fully filled up, right? With the water energy, with the joy, the satisfaction, the love, the hope, the dream, the intimacy, the connection, that personal, unique story, that authenticity, that we've lived life to the absolute fullest. We didn't miss out on anything. We stayed true to ourselves, and we expressed ourselves and followed our spiritual journey and our earthly journey as vigilantly as possible, as committedly as possible. And, at the end of our days, we're very satisfied with the life that we've lived, right? Well, this is the life that has been lived, but this Nine of Cups is the living of that life, you see. So the 9 and the 10 are very important cards, and I think the closer we get, the more journey we sort of make in life, the further and further away this ultimate satisfaction gets. We'll get closer to it and it'll jump back. We'll get closer, it'll jump back. And that keeps us going. It's like we're leaving one cup empty with our 9 of Cups, leaving one cup empty so that we have something to strive for, so that we still want something, right? I would rather, at my life's end, feel like I still have so much more appetite in me. I've got so much more that I want to do, and it sucks that my time is up. Well, when your time's up, your time's up. But I would rather still be hungry for more at that time, rather than feeling like, okay, I've accomplished everything I want in life. Now I'm just kind of waiting for the death card to roll in and tell me that it's my time. I'd rather have so much more appetite left in me. So anyway, the 9 and the 10 of Cups are, I think, very important cards when it comes to our experience of life. And this really is abundance on the physical, financial plane, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative. Yeah. So I feel like you're in this transitional period of your life and you're looking to fill those cups more. And I think that is guiding you more, that sort of deeper soul desire. That feels more important to you than this earth energy did. Okay. The earth energy is still very important. I feel like we needed to build up this part of our life, and now it's time to use that and to pursue these other things that feel more personal, more meaningful, and more representative of who you are as a spiritual being. Okay. Spirit's saying that there is some very happy news on its way to you. Okay, so I don't know what's going on in your life, but some happy news coming in the very near future. Okay. And you saw a UFO at some point in your life, or something in the sky that you can't explain, I'm hearing. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the path of the serpent. And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. It doesn't cost anything. Now, your general energy is the Knight of Pentacles. We're looking into the future again. And this time, I think we're trying to see the details. We're trying to find the 10 of Pentacles. We want to be able to envision, okay, what is the journey that I am really feeling drawn toward, okay? You look at this card, you see that the figure is not moving, looking up, gazing at what probably is kind of outside the frame of the card, is the top of a mountain, right? So you're looking at your mountain, you're thinking, is this mountain mine? Is this the one that I'm supposed to climb? Okay. The thing is, we can't see the summit in the card anyway, right? We have to sort of just imagine that it's sort of up here somewhere, right? And I think that's important, because we don't need to see the summit. What we need to know is that this is my mountain. This is the one I'm supposed to climb. This is where my 9.5 of Cups is. The 10 is up there somewhere, yeah, whatever. But the 9.5, this is my mountain, right? So we're looking at that, and this, I think, is something that you're trying to really get a clear picture of. You're trying to look into your future and think, what do I have this feeling, I have this sort of, this sense of self that's in here trying to make itself known and be heard. But what exactly does it look like? What exactly is it calling me toward? What does my adventure look like now? What is on the other side of the doorway? We're standing here trying to peek on the other side of this and see which mountain is ours and see what we're supposed to climb now, And I think we need to work on that. We need to practice that, to try to see what the details are of that. Try to get at least a rough idea of what that life looks like. Okay, because then we've got this major arcana energy, and we're going through that doorway. This is a doorway of fire. Okay, this is a doorway that says we've got to go outside of our comfort zone. We've got to take, we've got to use the exit here inside this Four of Pentacles. Otherwise, the Four of Pentacles is going to become a tower. Okay, because we're keeping all of our sort of other stuff outside of that, and we'd even be keeping the Nine of Cups outside of that, and we're just going to be existing inside this Four of Pentacles. It's going to build up the walls. The four walls are going to get taller until it becomes a tower. Well, then once it becomes a tower, we're just waiting for disaster, right? Something is going to happen that's going to kind of shake the tower, rattle the tower, threaten the tower, or bring the tower down, and we're going to have no control over that. We're going to call it fate, but really it is your sort of unconscious, right? It is your authentic self that's in there trying to make itself known and heard. Okay, so the fiery doorway that we see is really it's a difficult thing to go into, to go away from our house into a dark, scary forest, right? The difference with the Eon card here is that it's not so much a dark, scary forest, right? It is a brilliant and blinding light that we're going into. So either way, it's kind of hard to see what the details are on the other side. Yeah, even though that's kind of what we're trying to do, is figure out, like, if I go here, what is it going to look like? What is it that my soul actually wants to do right now? Like in a very practical sense. But this is the transition into the next phase of life, and this is us answering the call. This is us kind of hearing the alarm bells go off and thinking, okay, it's time for me to make this move. It's time for me to do something. Let me figure out what that something is, and let's go through this doorway. Now, going through the doorway here is going to require that we sort of strip ourselves bare, right? Nothing can go through a fiery doorway. That's not pure spirit, So I feel like this is a return to a more simple state. It's a return to a more, instead of the practical focus, it's returning to a more sort of spiritual or emotional, intuitive focus of life, right? Rather than be guided by practical needs, we're guided by subtle spiritual needs or emotional needs, right? And so the Eon card, really becomes a vulnerability that we're putting ourselves out there. We're venturing into what is sort of the unknown again. It's a new phase of life, and when we start that, it's like when we level up, we're kind of, the ceiling becomes the floor. We sort of have to start over again and build something and learn something and figure it all out, like we did way back in the day on our first sort of trip around the spiral, But this is the only major arcana energy. So I feel that this is the focus for you, is being willing to make this decision to say, okay, I'm going to go outside of this tower, and I'm going to, or outside of my home base here, and I'm going to pursue this future, this journey. I'm going to start living that journey. Wherever it takes me, whatever the mountain is, whatever it is going to really look like, this is the decision to do it. Okay. The fear is obviously a Nine of Swords. The fear is that we're not going to get the Nine of Cups, that we're going to get the Nine of Swords. And that's where our mind starts to, again, look at the future. We start to get worried about the future. We start to worry, like, what if I do this? And what if this is miserable? What if I just land in a deep depression and anxiety? What if this is miserable? What if this is, we start to worry about the future here. And it's a way for the heart and the mind here now. See, we've got the water and the air, the heart and the mind, the feeling and the thinking. You're feeling something within, but your mind is saying, I better not act on this because it could really lead to some bad places. I shouldn't act on this because it's going to lead me to a 9 of swords potentially. Right? We are thinking, we're looking at it and feeling it like this is going to be it. This is going to make me so happy. This is going to be what I need in my life right now. This is going to be the journey really that's full of meaning and purpose, But the mind is saying, no, it's not worth the risk because, look, that 9 of swords is really bad. And what if we get one instead of the other, So it's sort of a gamble, right? It's sort of a gamble. But the Ace of Wands, to me, is this sort of this pull. It's like this undeniable force within you that's pulling you in this direction. And it's causing a 5. It's the 4 plus the ace is giving us a 5, and a 5 is a number of change. It's also a verb, and it's basically saying change. It's saying that our energy is taking us in a different direction away from that 4 of Pentacles. Now, the 4 of Pentacles is still that very good foundation of life, but now it's like we're trying to reach outside of those walls, outside of those boundaries that we've created for it. We've put walls around ourselves because it makes us feel safe, We're reaching outside beyond that. And that's always risky. It's always a gamble, But I feel like this is inevitable. I feel like this is that fiery energy that is just, there's no way around this. You can delay this, you can postpone this and stay inside that 4 of Pentacles. But this is going to keep calling to you. And I think that it's going to, if we don't deal with it consciously, it's going to deal with us unconsciously. Okay, let's look at our mystery card. I kind of feel that I feel that you're meant to be a healer of some kind as well. I don't know what your skill set or what your talents really are, or what your passions really are. And also you've repainted something, right? Something's recently been painted. Mystery card, 9 of Pentacles, maybe. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. A 3 of Wands, okay. 3 of Wands is a card of virtue. It's a card of identity. It's a card of having a spiritual compass. It's a card of having your own set of sort of ethics and principles. And this is a card really of going your own way. Going your own way because it is the right way for you. Not because, as the Prince of Pentacles does, I just got to build the life that's going to put me in the right relationship with the world around me. It's going to put me in the right context with people and my parents, my school, my friends, my job, my career, the society, the neighborhood, whatever. That's going to really give me a nice secure place. This is kind of saying I'm going my own way. I got to do my own thing now. In a way, it's a little bit of a hermit mode. The hermit's kind of like saying, okay, that first phase of life was good. Now I'm going to go into the woods and be a yogi. And maybe that's part of your journey. Maybe it's a shift from the sort of practical business life to then just saying, I need to live a more spiritual life. I need to find those connections. I need to transcend my limitations. I need to find that sort of larger context, that spiritual context of life, or the emotional context. A lot of water energy here too, So I feel like there is a need for your relationships particularly, but your relationship with the world generally, to be more based on resonance and harmony and love and intimacy than on practical needs. Does that make sense to you? So the 3 of Wands is you doing what you know you need to do for yourself to put you in this greater spiritual context and find your place in the larger spiritual world, even if it's putting you at odds a little bit with these kinds of goals. Your goals are now these sort of spiritual goals, okay? It doesn't mean that you're abandoning one for the other, okay? But I think that you Your focus is shifting. Your center of gravity, like I said, is shifting with this Three of Wands here. Okay. Now, we're going to do an extended reading as well. We'll do an I Ching reading. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Sagittarius, Wednesday and Sunday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free, right? Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're currently watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.